What's up, guys? In this video, I am showing you guys how to get AWS Agent Core working on your local machine, deploying a Docker container, and then deploying it into AWS as an ECR Elastic Container Registry. And then we're going to connect it to AWS Agent Core. So I did a lot of the heavy lifting for you. I'm going to walk you through it, and it's going to be fun. All right, before I dig into the code, I just want to let you guys know that you should take a look at their documentation, especially the Strands agents documentation. It's really rich and they have a lot of good details. Also, the agent Bedrock documentation is real good. Definitely go check that out. And then also in this project, we're integrating Mem0. All right, so the prerequisites, if you want to follow along, you're going to need Python installed, Docker installed. You definitely need an AWS account. We're using OpenAI as an example, so you have to get your OpenAI API key. And then we're going to use the AWS CLI. I recommend you getting this set up. So we're going to run through the demo first. And then after that, once you just understand everything set up, I'm going to walk you through how to configure AWS, like creating the users, the policies, the AWS CLI configuration. So at the end, I'm going to break down the configuration setup. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to get this working. All right, so the first thing you need to do, go to my GitHub and then clone this repository. All right. So as soon as you clone this project to your machine, you're not going to have a virtual environment. So you're going to run UV sync, but you have to have UV package manager installed on your machine because we're using UV. So once you UV, it'll install the packages and it'll create a virtual environment for you. So once you have that, we'll just activate the virtual environment. So once you have your virtual environment installed, we're going to test this locally. So inside source, inside agents, we have OpenAI agent file. So here we have a simple Strands agent, which is this one. We just define the agent, define the model, we give it some tools. In this case, we're just giving a calculator tool, the Mem0 tool, and use LLM tool. And the system prompt is coming from the settings file. So inside here, I'm giving it a system prompt to act as Morpheus from the Matrix. And of course, we initialize the Bedrock AgentCore app. So this is our entry point for sending this AI agent to AWS AgentCore. All right, so feel free to explore this file. What we're going to do is going to run Python src agents, and this will run our agent. Now this agent is running on port 8080. So now we can just go to open up a new terminal. Just use this a new terminal, and we'll just get a sample request. You'll find it in the README file. So you just take this curl command and we'll just test that out and say hello. And we should get back a response saying, wake up Neo from Morpheus. All right, so this is how you test it locally. All right, so we'll close this, we'll shut this down, we'll clear it out. And next up, we're just gonna deploy it into a Docker container. So inside deployments, we have a few deployment files. We can deploy to Elastic Container Registry, or we can deploy it locally. So we're gonna run this file here. But we need to have Docker open. So you need a Docker installed. All right, so just download Docker Desktop and then you can go to this next step. So we're just gonna run Python deployment, deploy local, and that will create a Docker container for us. And the agent will be running on this Docker container. And now we can send the same command because it's hidden local host 8080. And you'll see that here, we did send the request and we got back a good response. So the invocation was completed successfully. So that's how you test it locally and testing it inside of a Docker container. All right, but now how do we deploy it to AWS Agent Core? All right, the first thing, you need an AWS account. Now, I'm gonna show you how to set up your role and your users later, but right now I'm just gonna show you how it's gonna get deployed and get connected to Agent Core and then getting invoked within the AWS SDK. Because once we get it into AgentCore, we can interact with this agent inside the AWS ecosystem or outside the AWS ecosystem using the AWS SDK, using Python or TypeScript, and I believe a different language as well. So first we need to deploy the agent as a container into a registry. Think of ECR as a way to share and deploy Docker images seamlessly on AWS. It's like your private Docker hub but with like AWS security, performance, and automation. All right, so we're gonna programmatically send the Docker container image to AWS Amazon ECR. So how do we do that? We'll go back to the code base. We have this file called deploy to ECR. So all you need to do is run Python deployment deploy ECR. And what this will do is pull my AWS configuration details for the user role Bedrock developer who has specific permissions to only have access to Bedrock and ECR policies. It can't do anything else in the AWS environment besides using Bedrock agent and Amazon ECR and EC2 permissions. This is the principle of least privilege. All right, so basically this script, what's gonna do is gonna verify my credentials. I'm gonna get my credentials. I'm gonna set up my ECR repository by logging into ECR first and then building and pushing the Docker image to ECR. So once it's successful, you'll see this successful message, and then you can follow these steps to connect it to AWS Agent Core. So now let's go to Amazon ECR and make sure that the ECR container was deployed. So we'll just refresh the screen and we should see it right here. What you need to do is go to AgentCore. All right, so once you get to the Amazon Bedrock AgentCore homepage, go to Agent Runtime and then click Host an Agent. And then you want to just give your agent a name. I'm gonna name mine Morpheus. And then this is just Morpheus from the Matrix agent. And then here's the important piece. Right here is where you have to add your image URI. So just click Browse Images and you should see this one that you created earlier. And then just select that one. And you need to choose a role. So use an existing role. If you don't have a new role, you can just create and use a new role. And that should fix it, that should work. But in my case, I already created a role, so I'm just gonna use this one. And then after that, you need to set and then after that, go to advanced configuration because we need to set the OpenAI API key and the Mem0 API key. So I'm gonna add that. All right, so I didn't get a chance to talk about Mem0. Let's talk about Mem0. I love Mem0 because it seamlessly adds memory and retrieves memory for the large language model for you. And not only that, it self-improves by itself by updating the Mem0 memory layer. Long story short, by configuring Mem0, the AI large language model will remember everything you discuss with it. So what you're gonna need to do is sign up for Mem0. I'm on the pro plan, but you can use the free plan and that should be enough. So once you get set up, just go to API keys and then create a new API key and add it into this environment variable section. So once you do that, just click host agent and we'll just let that cook to configure and deploy. All right, and as soon as you see that it's ready to be accessible. Now, if you go to view invocation code, you can access this agent via Python, TypeScript, or JavaScript. In this case, you can take this script and use it within any Python script. As long as you have the AWS SDK, you can plug these inside of an EC2 instance, inside of an AWS Lambda, or some rapid around a fast API, etc. So basically this agent is now living within the AWS ecosystem. So all you need to do is just take this ARN number and we can go back to the code base. Just go to the README file and take the command with the AR number, the prompt, and the session ID. We'll take that and send that request. And we're gonna get back wake up Neo, and then we're just gonna continue the conversation. Say, what is the matrix? It returns the response, and I'll just continue the conversation. I'm like, yes, I do understand what you're talking about. And then Morpheus, of course, tells me, it is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. And then Neo says, what truth? And then Morpheus offers me the red pill or the blue pill. So if we look in Mem0, we have no memories right now. So I'm going to tell Morpheus that I'm going to take the red pill. Say, I'm ready, I'll take the red pill. And then he says, welcome Neo, welcome to the Wonderland. So if I go to Mem0, it should have added a memory. So user has chosen the red pill. So now I'm going to be like, what pill did I take? What pill did I take? It says you have chosen the red pill, Neo. This choice signifies your willingness to seek the truth. So now if I go check the Mem0 logs, it's going to say I added a memory, user chosen the red pill, and it did a few searches. So retrieve the user has chosen red pill. All right, so what we just did, I think was pretty awesome. We tested an AI agent locally, we Dockerized it and tested it. We deployed it to Amazon ECR, AWS Elastic Container Registry, which is a new thing for me to learn. And I'm sure you probably learned something really cool too. And then we connected the ECR to an AgentCore AI agent, which we created. And we can create as many AI agents as we want now. We can actually, instead of using OpenAI, we can use Crew AI, LangGraph, or any other like OpenAI SDK. It doesn't have to be from Strands AI. That's the power of Bedrock AgentCore, is you can take other frameworks and wrap it around the AgentCore app. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is that observability. You can check the logs in CloudWatch. So once you get to CloudWatch, choose a log group that has the identifier of the ARN number. So this one ends with TKF, which should match the one that we were using. So we click that one, and then we can just check the logs, and then you'll be able to see the incoming logs that came through. So for example, this one, you can see any errors, or you can track what's going on in the info level and debug level. All right, so in order to be able to deploy the ECR container, you need to have a user that's going to have permissions to do that from your local machine. So where you're going to do that is you're going to go to IAM, and you're going to create a user like this. There's like this Bedrock user. So all you're going to do is create a user and add these permissions. So if you go back to the code base, inside the docs folder, I created instructions on how to create the user and configure the policies and which policies to configure. So just follow this documentation and you should be good. You can also see in the documentation you need to install the CLI. So if you're on Mac, just run brew install AWS CLI. If you're on Windows, you can follow these instructions. What you're gonna do is run AWS configure, and you're gonna add these keys. Now, how do you do that? So once you create the user, you're gonna be able to generate these access keys right here. You're gonna download it, and then you're just gonna follow the instructions here on how to add those keys. And if you don't know anything, I recommend you using the Amazon Q plugin, which allows you to connect to Amazon's Q developer tool, which is, I believe, trained on AWS documentation. This can definitely help you get through anything inside AWS. Basically, I've been using it, it's been super helpful. Yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have learned a lot. I'm still learning AWS. I'm getting real comfortable with it. I'm really enjoying it. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment, let me know. And also, if you guys have any other ideas on what videos for me to create, if you guys are interested, let me know. I'd love to hear what videos you guys are interested in seeing that you'd like me to go over. If you'd like access to the code base, it's in the description. And if you guys have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll do my best to help you guys out. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.